Friends, nobody's life is smooth or perfect. Everyone faces problems of one sort or another, and we need to be calm and rational to seek out its solution. The hermit of Ujjaini also faced a unique problem. Do you know what it was? It was that of a mouse. Wondering? Well, let's start the story. Once upon a time, in the outskirts of the holy city of Ujjaini, there lived a hermit in a temple. Daily he would go to the city and beg for alms, with which he used to sustain himself. In the evening, after dinner, the hermit would
Keep the leftover food in a vessel and hang it on a wall.
He would then go off to sleep. Next morning, he would share the food with a boy named
Gopal,
who would help him keep the hermitage neat and clean. Meanwhile, some mice staying nearby had seen the food in the hermit's place. One day, a friend of a mouse called Charak said, "Charak, we have seen that the hermit hangs his leftover food on the wall. It seems he is afraid that mice might eat his food in the night. But you are an expert in jumping very high and you can easily reach the food hung on the wall. Why do we have to go far and wide in search of food when you can easily help us to get the food which is kept nearby in the hermit's place?" After much persuasion, Charak agreed, and they all went silently to the hermit's cottage and saw the food vessel hanging on the wall. Charak reached the vessel without any effort. He ate some and gave some more to his friends who were standing below. Afterwards, they silently went back to their home. Thereafter, every night, they started enjoying the food brought by the hermit. One day, in the morning, the hermit noticed that someone was stealing his food. He started hanging the vessel a little higher on the wall. But the moment he was asleep, by hook or by crook, Charak would reach the vessel and he, along with his friends, would enjoy the food. Finally, the hermit made a plan to stop the thief from stealing his food. To frighten the thief, he would beat the food vessel with a stick before sleeping and do this from time to time whenever his sleep was disturbed by some slightest of noise. Hermit saw that the thieves were mice, and there was one strong mouse who would reach the vessel however high he hung it. All through the night, Charak would try to reach the vessel and the hermit would drive him away with the stick. One day, a friend of the hermit came to visit him for a few days. Hermit welcomed his friend and prepared food for him. Before sleeping, the hermit and his friend discussed the philosophy of life and religious scriptures. They were chatting and discussing. But hermit's attention was always on the leftover food and the antics of the mice. And that's why, in between conversation with his friend, hermit would strike the vessel with a stick. He was unable to give full attention to what his friend was saying and would give vague replies to his friend's queries in a lost manner. Finally, the friend got very angry and said, "I know now that you are no more my old childhood friend. Now that you have got a temple, you think very highly of yourself and have become very conceited. You have forgotten that once we were so very close. People are normally very happy to meet their old friends and are very concerned about their well-being. But look at your behavior. You are least interested in my welfare and not heeding to what I am saying. You seem to be lost in another world of your own and more interested in hitting the vessel." Hearing this, hermit was shocked. How could he be so rude to his friend? He then said, "Friend, you are my closest friend. I cannot in my wildest dream think of insulting you. There is a serious reason for my behavior. It does not let me sleep at night. I am going to share my problem with you. Every day I save some food and put it in a vessel and hang it on the wall. But of late, one mouse somehow reaches the vessel, eats it himself and also throws some of it down on the floor for his other friends. This is why I am unable to give any food to my helper Gopal. Not only do the mice dirty the floor, Gopal is also not taking any interest in cleaning because he doesn't get the food. That's why he keeps striking the vessel with a stick to frighten the mice away. And this is one and the only reason for not giving you full attention. This mouse has outsmarted even cats and monkeys. His friend asked, "Do you know where the mouse lives?" "No." "Then we must find out. Wherever the mouse lives, he must have hoarded a lot of food. That is why the mouse is so cheerful and energetic, and he can jump so high." "Oh, is that really so?" "Yes." It is said that when a man has got wealth, he is highly active and his energy increases multifold. The same applies to the mouse. He has stored away large amount of food, and that's the reason for his exceptional power of jumping. Friend again asked, "Have you got a spade?" "Oh yes." "Tomorrow morning we are going to follow Mouse's footsteps and track his burrow. Then we will dig it out and bring his stockpile of food." Hermit was amazed at the wisdom of his friend. But when Charak the mouse heard this, he realized that now their game has finished. Because the hermit's friend makes sense. He will surely find out about my stock of food, because it is easy to defeat a person if one is well aware of the other person's weakness. The other mice were also warned and they were frightened. And so, out of fear of being tracked, they took a long circular path that would mislead the hermit and his friend. But unfortunately, even they were not familiar with the long route that they had taken, and therefore they did not know about the dangerous fat cat which lived there. So while returning, the cat attacked them, and many of Charak the mouse's friends were killed, and many others were injured. Few managed to escape somehow and came home. Charak was very disturbed, so he went to a park to be alone and calm down. He was so lost in thought that time just flew away and sun rose. Meanwhile, Hermit and his friend easily tracked the mice's footsteps, which was splattered with their blood while protecting themselves from the cat. They dug out the whole stock of food of the mouse and took it away with them. When Charak the mouse reached home in the morning, he found that his home was totally destroyed and his stockpile of food all gone. With heavy heart, he went to the temple where his friends were already there. But the hermit heard their footsteps and started beating the vessel with stick loudly. His friend said, "Oh, stop it. There is no reason now to make such noises." Hermit said, "But I have heard the footsteps of the mice and that's why I am making noise." "Stop worrying," Hermit's friend chided. "Mouse's stock of food has finished, and with that, his power of jumping will also be reduced considerably. Sometimes people just do such things to hide their weakness." When Charak heard this, he was furious and tried to jump towards the vessel. He missed the target and fell down with a heavy thump. When his enemies heard him falling, they started laughing. Hermit's friend said, "When the wealth is lost, everyone becomes an ordinary man. Now just go off to sleep peacefully, because we now have the source of his power, his stockpile of food." Charak knew that Hermit's friend is right. He saw that Hermit had put his stock of food in a bag, which he had placed under his head like a pillow. He was angry, couldn't do anything. How dare he use his food stock like a pillow? But as he was in no position to get it back, he went back to his ramshackled home and started making plans as to how to get back his food stock. Next morning, he saw that all his friends had left him for another mouse leader. Oh, it's true that people only follow leaders who are resourceful. Now that I have become poor, they are no more with me. So early next morning, alone, he silently went to Hermit's room and crept towards its food stock, which was still under Hermit's head, and tried to pull it out. But the Hermit woke up and he beat the mouse with a stick. Somehow Charak the mouse managed to escape. Charak now knew that now there's no hope for him. He won't be getting back his food store. So he just left the place and never came back. Do you also believe that power of people lies on their wealth? Do share your opinion in comment box. Also do like and subscribe if already not done so. See you with another story.